You know that feeling when you are sick and you just reach for medicine in your cabinet. You do not even think about it. Headache? You grab something. Fever? You grab something else. Infected cut? You have got something for that too. Now I want to ask you something. What if that cabinet was not there? What if there was no pharmacy, no doctor to call, and no hospital to drive to? What if the only thing standing between you and a serious infection was whatever you could find in the forest around you? That was the reality for our ancestors for hundreds of thousands of years. And here's the thing that should genuinely shock you. They survived. Not just survived, but in some cases lived longer and healthier lives than people do today. Everything starts with a skull. In 2018, archaeologists in France found a 5,000-year-old skull with a circular, deliberate hole drilled into it. The bone had healed, meaning the person survived. This is trepanation. It has been found on every continent, with survival rates hitting 80%. Without anesthesia or sterile tools, they understood intracranial pressure through observation alone. Then there is Otzi the Iceman, found in the Alps. He had arthritis and a stomach ulcer, but he also had 61 tattoos placed at the exact acupuncture meridian points used in traditional Chinese medicine to treat those exact ailments. He was evidence of a medical tradition spanning thousands of years. Consider the plants. The pharmaceutical industry is built on ancient discoveries. Egyptians used willow bark for pain 3,500 years ago. That is aspirin. Sumerians used opium poppies. Ancient healers used honey for infected wounds, an antibacterial property modern science now confirms. In 2012, researchers found Neanderthal plaque containing poplar bark and penicillium mold. They were taking the equivalent of aspirin and antibiotics 50,000 years ago. But the most powerful medicine was the community. We have isolated the sick in rooms, but ancient healing was social. Research shows loneliness produces physical harm equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The sick were gathered in and held. That presence reduced stress hormones and accelerated recovery. We have more technology than ever, yet we are sicker. Not because the medicine is worse, but because we separated the medicine from the person. The instinct to sit beside someone who is hurting and stay. That is not just kindness, that is ancient medicine. And it still works. We look back at history and see primitive, desperate people. But we are looking through the wrong lens. They were masters of observation. They lived in a world where every plant had a purpose and every ailment had a context within the tribe. When you look at the medical records of the past, you see a lineage of survival that dwarfs our own. They did not have the luxury of convenience, but they possessed a profound, intuitive intimacy with their own biology. We have replaced that intimacy with clinical detachment. We have moved the patient from the hearth of the home to the sterile silence of the ward. We have turned the act of healing into a transaction of chemicals and metrics. But the data is clear. The most sophisticated piece of medical technology ever created is not a drug. It is the human heart. It is the capacity for one person to stand in the gap for another. It is the communal response to suffering. Our ancestors knew that pain is not just a physical sensation, it is a call for connection. When they applied honey to a wound, they were using chemistry. When they sat by the fire with the wounded, they were using psychology, sociology, and biological regulation. They were regulating each other's nervous systems through proximity. And today, we are starved for that. We have pills for our moods and screens for our loneliness, but we are losing the biological anchor of community. The evidence is there in the teeth of Neanderthals and the tattoos of the Iceman. They were not alone. They were a collective organism. So look at your life. Look at the people around you. When you feel the weight of this world, remember the 50,000-year-old blueprint. We are designed to be held. We are designed to heal each other. If this hit home, share it with someone who is going through a hard time. Sometimes the most healing thing you can offer is the evidence that what they are going through has been survived before. Subscribe for more, because we are just scratching the surface of what our ancestors knew and what we have forgotten. The path back to wellness is not always forward. Sometimes it is a journey back to the beginning. It is a journey back to each other. Every week we go somewhere. Most channels will not go. Join the movement. Subscribe and share. The ancient world whispers secrets of survival that modern chaos has drowned out in white noise. Listen, reflect, heal. You belong to a long chain of survivors who never gave up, who cared for the fallen, and who mastered the earth to sustain life. Keep going. The journey is long, but you are never truly alone. Stay strong, keep searching, and always remember to bring your community along with you into the light. This is not the end of the story. It is the invitation to write your own chapter of restoration and ancient, enduring wisdom in a world that desperately needs it. We walk on the paths cleared by those who came before. Honor that legacy. Value the person sitting next to you. Be the modern medicine the world is waiting for. You are part of something older, deeper, and far more resilient than you know. Every single breath you take is a testament to the success of those ancient hands that nurtured life, shared the fire, and passed down the light. Stay connected to your roots, stay grounded in your purpose, and remember that when you heal one person, you are healing the species.